Hey, Delane.
Hello. I was just about to ask if you could see my screen.
I can, yes.
Okay. I'm putting that up while I am getting dinner ready.
There
Thank
you
you.
go. I'm working on dissertation stuff, so
There we go.
multitasking.
Okay, so I think I just learned something about Zoom that I hadn't realized before because I've heard people say, like, oh, once I share screen, I can't see anyone. And I thought maybe I could at least do split screen, but no, it's like I literally, oh, wait, there it is. Now oh, it's because no one was on video. Oh, okay.
Okay. I can.
Once Wes popped on, I can actually see things. I think I have mine.
Hello.
Here we go. Hey, Wes.
Hello.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, ¿y tú?
Bien.
And
Yeah.
we've reached the limit.
Okay.
I have been doing
Bien,
Duolingo.
uno cerveza, dos tacos, tres enchiladas. Okay.
I
What
mean,
more do you
what else do you really need?
How do you say birani in Spanish?
Pirani?
It's an Indian dish. I don't know. This is
Yeah. I think it's just pirani.
Probably biryani.
cross-cultural.
Fusion. Okay, hang on.
Layla must be at some kind of rehearsal.
There we go. Okay. I had my Zoom screen at full screen, so I couldn't minimize it to move it to my other monitor because I'm clearly still at the office right now.
You look very nice too.
Oh, well, thank you. Ooh.
About to ask how things were going, Wes, but I know we're going to hear all about that, and I'm very excited to hear about it.
Yes, indeed. Let me make some adjustments.
Welcome,
Yeah,
Matt and
we
MFA.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Okay. I'm going to stop.
Evening, y'all.
What is happening? There we go. Yeah. So,
Layla, I'm loving the pink hair.
yes, it's very nice. Elizabeth heard this earlier, but I had that screen up just because I was away getting my dinner ready. So didn't want people to think no one was here while I was not in front of the computer. It's like the perfect bubble gum. I love it.
All right, I got I had to get all my logistics done. Hey, Matt, good to see you, man. You got your mute on, but that's okay. Your smiling face is enough. Hey, there's a cat.
Puppy. My dogs probably hate me
Oh,
because
it's a dog.
fairly certain
It's not a
that-
cat. I insulted.
He's a purely cat-like dog. That's a lie, actually. He's just very spastic. This is my special child. The other one is being very good and just laying down on the couch.
Go curled up because it's cold outside.
Even though he is the one that was just yelling at the neighbors 5 minutes ago.
He wore himself out. That's what it is. Yeah, my dogs probably hate me right now because I think Nick is also still at the office. So
Oh.
they'll be a little grumpy when we get home.
That was these two last week because I had to go to a conference. And so I was gone all week, and Andrew doesn't work from home at all at his current job. So they were shut up all day for the first time. And I don't even know how long.
Yeah.
And they were apparently crazy when he got home every day.
Like, I am not about this life. What have you done to me?
Like this one, as you can see, insists on being in a lap at all times. So this is, I mean, he was in the kennel for an hour while I was at the gym, and he's Velcro.
Velcro.
Also, he just figured out there's food in front of me, so now he really wants to be over here. This is not even, no, sir. We're not playing this game. Wild Andrew
Who's
appeared.
behind you, Layla? Are your students crashing the meeting?
Absolutely. They're just finishing up.
You know, they can be Rotarians too,
Yeah,
eventually.
the more the merrier.
Get that Rotaract Club going. I mean, I feel like Layla already has a pipeline from her students into Ryla.
True. So they just come to Ryla and then go back and start Rotaract Club, and then the cycle can just continue.
How
Hey,
is
James,
everybody?
good to see you. So you're in Mexico City right now?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
How's the audio? Can you hear me? Okay, I've got kind of an odd configuration here, but yeah, I'm in Mexico City and let's see.
Oh, it's still daylight there,
Yeah, same time zone.
just further south.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's see, come on, get without dropping off my cords. So, yeah, come on. So I'm on the 21st floor, so you're looking out over the city. You see in the mountains, if you know geography a bit about Mexico City, it's in a really what used to be a lake surrounded by mountains. And it's a very complex, beautiful, interesting place. Now down here, that park is this is Reforma Avenue, so it's kind of this is the wealthier side of town. And that park is where I run in the mornings. And if you can see that, you see that there's a building way over, it looks like a palace. Do you see that? Do I have it in the? Yeah, it's at the end of the park.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's the Bella Arts Museum and Concert Hall, operas, plays, symphonies. And you can't see it from my hotel room, but at the edge of the other side of the park is the Diego Rivera Museum. And so huge Diego Rivera murals. And so lots of art and culture here in Mexico City. Beautiful place if you haven't been. There's a lot of French influence.
Fascinating.
That's really interesting. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. The French government. This was a sovereignty, under French sovereignty for a long period in the 19th century, and so the subway is designed under French. It copied the French subway system, and I think the park across the street is sort of modeled after the Tuileries. But yeah, there's lots of French influence throughout the city. Probably down in Cuernavaca as well.
So I'm turning my camera off as I'm shoving my face with food. But I also have been watching The Crown recently because the new season just came out. And so I got down this whole rabbit hole of how the monarchy works and just, because it's something we don't have, and discovered, which I did not know, that Canada is still technically part of the Commonwealth.
Yeah, 39
no
countries.
idea. Was baffled by that.
I think there are 39 countries in the Commonwealth, give or take.
That was a really interesting rabbit hole.
So is Australia.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
Australia, I knew. I didn't realize New Zealand still
That's
was,
why
but
the
I mean, I
Queen
think that one I knew, but just hadn't really thought about.
Yeah, that's why the Queen is on, or was, or still is, on the Canadian currency.
Fascinating. Just goes to show I've never been to Canada.
There's some tequila that I got.
Ooh.
This
Elizabeth, I'm
is-
so jealous that you're seeing.
That's the most important thing to get when you first get there.
Yeah, I mean, if I
I don't normally think of koala and Mexico.
But then I love
This is,
koalas.
John
That
Polio.
makes me
This
so
is-
happy.
Super cute.
Polio now.
That's adorable.
And this was a Mexican blanket given. I mean, they treat us ridiculously well. I mean, like celebrities that we don't deserve. So what else? Some of the students created artwork, and this is a photograph of some of the students. This one. Yeah. And here's the heart-to-heart, the official heart-to-heart T-shirt. Got to have them. So
Oh, cool. I like that logo.
Polo shirt. Candy, one of the school gave us a thing of candy, Mexican candy. All
So,
right. What?
not to take Layla's job, but I know she's got students. We are about 10 minutes in. I know wish you were just showing off if you want to go ahead and get us started.
Yes, indeed. So let me switch over to my presentation. I'm going to buzz through this very quickly. Refresher, I've chatted about this a couple times, and but give you a high level view. The program is called Heart to Heart, and it's an international project with Rotary International. And so I'll skip that. This is video. Let's see. It's a joint project, combined efforts of U.S. and Mexico City clubs. The Rotary has zones, and so this is zone 30 and 31, made mostly of the Midwest, Midwest part of the United States clubs, and principally 2 districts in Mexico City, and a lot of clubs in Mexico City, but in 2 districts. And so I went in 2019, this year as well, about 30 Rotarians each way. And, whoops, going the wrong way. So this began about 20 years ago, these clubs in the Midwest, just by friendship and some creative thinking, began collaborating with Mexico City clubs to provide projects, funding for things that would really change people's lives in a big way. So practical projects is a real emphasis on practicality, control of money so there's no corruption and money goes where it's supposed to, and we get local expertise. Began with a single water well in a rural town. Some of the members of the Mexico City clubs are wealthy business owners, investors, professionals, pretty well-heeled group. And as you go out from Mexico City, the clubs become a little less affluent. But each year, each November, 30 or 40 U.S. Rotarians come to the Mexico City and participate in these project sites to gather ideas and evaluate possible projects for which they can joint venture. Each club gets to decide what they want to do, scale up, scale down, completely flexible. Here are the zones in 30 and 31. 5830 is, of course, down here on the bottom left. We're an E-club, of course, we're everywhere, but that's how we started. And hundreds of projects have been funded. Mexico City Rotary celebrated 100 years, so they have been stalwarts of the Rotary International for decades. And the 4 signature heart-to-heart projects, a lot of projects, but the 4 signature ones began with water tank systems for grade schools so that kids could have drinking water. And it's also evolved into bathrooms, just having bathrooms in schools. The kidney transplant program is unique to Rotary. It's organic to the organization. Thousands of kidney transplants have taken place, paid for by Rotary money. The pacemaker program, the wheelchair program. And so we're friends, we're neighbors, we're trading partners, we share cultural, business, personal ties. It's not difficult to get down to Mexico City. It's 1 flight from Dallas, and lots of needs. There's 20 million people living in that city I just showed you, and lots of good people here locally to take care of the money. And it works both ways. I think some of the Mexican clubs fund projects in the US. The money comes from, a big part of this is how to fund these projects. So the money comes from Rotary International, which has its foundation through global grants. And Rotary is very careful, meticulous, require documentation, control, reporting back, accounting for all the grants, but they give global grants to worthy projects. There's another organization called Firmex, and it's a Rotary foundation, a very large, well-endowed Rotary foundation in Mexico City, controlled by the 2 districts. And they have their own building, 9-story building. I'll be there tomorrow, and they vet in the proposals. And then there's the United Mexican Rotary Fund, and then there are other grant projects. And so also the individual districts or the individual clubs give money to the projects as well. So that's how the money flows in. And here's where I went yesterday. Preparatory School 250, very gracious. There are 1,000 students, okay, 1,000 kids at this school. It's a public school, 2 shifts, morning and afternoon. They don't have a lot of funding. They make do with what they have. They do it very well. It's 90 minutes outside of Mexico City downtown. So it's still in Mexico City, just it takes a long time to get across the city. And one or two Rotary clubs have adopted this school. And they work with the local Rotary club that's in this area with this school. And that's how they fund these. And they also get money from Rotary grants. So you'll see the laboratory that they have, it's very crude. They were doing crude experiments, doing the best they can. The kids, if you'll notice in the picture, they have uniforms. And so the uniforms are expensive, but the families sacrificed to do this. And they put on a presentation. I'm a little uncomfortable with this. I didn't want to be entertained. I didn't want the kids to feel like they had to entertain us, but they felt that was something they wanted to do. And you can see a lot of kids, and they really went out to show hospitality. Oops. This was a school we visited today, Primary School 269, and not quite as affluent, I guess. Many of the kids could not afford uniforms. And I think some of the little kids did have uniforms, but older kids seemed to not have uniforms. And now this is the big deal. That bathroom on the bottom left-hand corner, it took over a year to construct these bathrooms. They were built by the parents of these kids. The money was the materials were paid for with Rotary money that came in from the grants from Rotary International through the sponsoring club, U.S. club, and then on to the local club, which controlled and administered the project. But the labor was not paid for. It was all parent work. So those tiles, the painting, all this was ripped out. I saw pictures of it today. Everything you see in that room was completely stripped out to rubble and reconstructed. So the kids could go to the bathroom in two or three different locations in the building. Previously, it was pretty unpleasant. And they were very gracious to us today. You can see from the picture. This is something I went to this afternoon. This is an ecological preservation. This is a very ambitious program. This club has a lot of money. This is the one that gave us a great dinner this afternoon at the top of one of the Mexico City skyscrapers. This is like, I don't know, a wealthy private club. But they have a very ambitious program, maybe too ambitious, but they want to create, basically, there's a huge national park 5 hours south of Mexico City, and they want to preserve it by also providing a living for the 20,000 or so people who live there that are deep in poverty. It's very convivial. This is where we were just before I rushed over to do this presentation. A very nice restaurant and a lot of good hospitality. Warm welcome from our districts. And this is where we arrived Sunday night, and they were very nicely hosted us. We don't deserve all of this. I'm really not interested in all the ceremony and being feted. I really want to help get money to people who can use it a lot more than I need it. But nonetheless, they're very gracious host, and we have a very good partnership that goes 20 years. These people know each other for 20 years in tight relationships. Here's a very good friend I met, Miguel. He's a former district governor. This is another bathroom I saw last year. That building was built from scratch, and they finally had just a place to go to the bathroom. So there's a local club, Mexico City Club, fine professionals, Mexican professionals, some lawyers, some business owners. They formed this club, and they have about 7 schools, public schools that they've adopted, and they try to get grant money, and they start with the basics: drinking water, bathrooms, and then work their way up to textbooks and laboratory equipment and stuff like that. So that was a big deal. And this was a breakfast for kids in a bakery. I saw this last year. And it's a poor neighborhood, and they wanted to provide just a couple of jobs, but also breakfast for the kids on their way to school. So they would man this and supply bread so the kids could eat before going to school. And now this is another big deal. This is there are a lot of handicapped people in Mexico, everywhere, but a lot in Mexico. And wheelchairs are expensive. They're hard to come by. They're not really adaptable. But there's one man, I met him, I had breakfast with him this week. He's American, married to a Mexican wife, and he's handicapped. He's been in a wheelchair since he broke his back 45 years ago. But he's dedicated his life to building wheelchairs that are modified for the user. So this event we attended was where everybody who's handicapped and has a wheelchair can come and have them repaired. There were technicians who could repair them or modify them so they could have wheelchairs that were tailored to what their particular disability. This was a home outside of Mexico City. We went over the mountains last year. There was earthquakes and destroyed homes. And so the Rotary Club here was actually rebuilding some very modest homes. The woman on the right is the woman who's going to live in this home. She's probably living there now, I'm sure. Here's another home that was constructed. Medical care. And so this is, some of the hospitals have needs. Let's see here. Hospital labs, good, okay. Okay, I think I'm looking for some of my pictures seem to be missing. I don't know where. Well, I don't know what I did, but in the event, that's the program that I have, and so the reason I show you this for a couple reasons. I was a Rotarian, just kind of a lunch Rotarian for about 20 years, just went for the lunch. But about 3 years ago, a speaker came and spoke about this project, the Heart to Heart program, and I was sold. I recognized that it really made a lot of sense, and it was something that was practical and could be done. And so I went in 2019, and for the first time, it all fit together. Taught me, showed me how good people working collaboratively across borders could get really practical things done, protect the money, and change people's lives. And so I'm presenting this to you and making an effort here because I'd like you to think about participating next year. It's not inexpensive. It is a bit of a sacrifice. You have airfare and hotel, but it's not the end of the world. You go to a vacation. This could be a vacation, and you'd be well treated. But it really will enrich your life and show you a way that we can direct some of our money to projects for which we have a vested interest, that we're a participant in, and we can join some of these international projects even as a small club, and we can raise money. We can focus our fundraising to delivering to some of these projects. So I'll stop there and I'll see what questions you have. So. There we go.
This is really awesome. My question was going to be how you got involved, but I think you answered that. But so I'm curious, do you know how the program got started? Was it just kind of people seeing a need?
Just a couple of guys who struck up a conversation and began thinking, how could we work together? And I think it began with that water well. It was a U.S. club, and they decided, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to build a water well in one school, and they did. They raised some money from their club, and they went down and they hired a contractor and they built a water well for the kids. They had portable water, and they began doing that at some other schools. And that led each year to continue to grow those. It was all based on personal relationships. These folks I'm running around with, they are really deep, 20-year relationships. They see each other every year, and it's like homecoming for them. So a deep trusted relationships. We've worked at each other and gone solved all kinds of problems in putting these things together and trying to manage things that could go wrong. And so they have very close relationships. So much of this is just relationships and problem solving, matching resources to needs.
James, do you guys, is it the same time every year that the program goes down there, or does it
Yeah,
vary?
I think they usually do it for a week in November. So
Okay.
this time it was a little bit different. They flew from various points in the U.S. to Guadalajara, and they spent 4 days in Guadalajara, and then flew to Mexico City. And they flew to Mexico City on Sunday, and that's where I met them because I didn't want to spend the whole week on this. So I flew down on Sunday to Mexico City and just did the 5 days, 4 days with the Mexico City portion. So. Mhm. So I think they were striking up new clubs, new relationships in Guadalajara, things that they could do. And so we have a couple of buses we're hauled around the city, and they spend a whole year working out the logistics on this. And so the local clubs in this Mexico City district, they do a lot. They do all the logistics of buses, vehicles. We broke down yesterday. They had to get another bus to come and pick us up. Translators, the microphones for the translator headsets, and things like bottled water and sodas and snacks and things like this. They really pay attention to the details, and really too much in pampering us. That's the word I was looking for. They pamper us a little bit too much. And it's okay. So, hopefully we get a chance to return the favor one of these days. So.
Is there anybody else from our district that goes, or is
No. Thank you, Mr. Sanders. You hit a sore point. The Ted Huffines, a guy named Ted Huffines in our district, he was a past district governor in our district, a brilliant man, a man with an MBA, who could give master's classes in MBA performance. He's the one who gave the presentation to our club last year, or in 2019. That got me into this. Beautiful presentation. We had a number of interest in our club, and I'm the one who stepped up from our club, one of these old line 100-year-old clubs, and I brought it down, and they supported it, and they were very enthusiastic. While I was down here 3 years ago, I actually I got them to pass the hat during the Rotary meeting, which was occurring while I was here. We ended up donating $222 cash to one of the members for one of the schools. That was our contribution. That interest fizzled, and so nobody from this district, our district, is participating in this. Just me, Mike Groom and his wife. He's a past president prior to Carolyn Franks. He came down 3 years ago, and he has his wife. So they're big supporters. They just didn't participate this year. They had probably other commitments, but nobody in our district has shown more interest, which is why I'm hoping that we can change that. I bragged about all of you to this club, to these organizations of the younger, more diverse, more entrepreneurial, forward-thinking, leaning forward club, the future of Rotary, and they get it. These folks really do get it. So
that's good. Did they have any cause for why anybody else in our district doesn't participate?
No, I think it's just everybody's busy. There's so many competing demands on our time and interest. There weren't any cheerleaders this year in our district, apparently, people cheerleading and saying, come on, let's go. So
Yeah, you showed the zone map of the different districts that are connected to this project. I'm wondering kind of where some of the other participants that you're serving this week.
Tennessee, quite a few people from Tennessee, Ohio, Indiana, Missouri, Arkansas. Those are the primary places. Yeah, there are a couple. There's another guy from Fort Worth, and Arkadelphia. A couple people from Arkansas. Nobody from Oklahoma that I saw. So, yeah. So
when
yeah, go ahead.
When I was in San Diego, we did 2 day trips to Tijuana each year. And generally our 2 focus areas were the cleft palate issue, and then kind of like Habitat for Humanity. We would go down and build houses, which was super fun. But it was just a day trip. I mean, this sounds like a lot more organized
Um, it is, and I'm sort of, let me see here. Somehow, when I was rushing to produce some slides, I must have removed some photographs. Let me see if I can pull up a few other photographs here. Go over to, yeah, but you were absolutely right, Matt. There's so many physical needs, and I'm a big believer in being practical, that if you really, really want to help someone, focus on medical and education. And let's see here. Here we go. Here we go. Let's see here. Come on, let me just do it a different way. So along those lines of a cleft palate, the hospital we visited has tried very practically to attract our interest in supporting something tangible. It's easier to present when there's something tangible with immediate benefits. And scoliosis is a problem everywhere, but in Mexico, there are not many ways to treat it. So what they need are corsets, back corsets they wrap around tightly around the body to restructure the spine. It's painful, takes a long time, but with the younger the child, the child can grow and the spine can adjust in response to the tension from the corset, which reduces the need for surgery. And so these corsets don't cost a great deal of money. And I think two clubs have donated, I think there've been 2 grants. They had 67 of these corsets, and that's 67 kids who've been changed. And so we as a club can do any number of things, including just funding some of these corsets. They cost several $100s a piece, I think. But that could be something we can do very readily. So
That's really cool to see. So my best friend had a pretty severe scoliosis and ended up having surgery right after we graduated high school. And that was a very intense surgery. I mean, she still has like the rods in her back from this. And so seeing that there's something that is just a couple $100 that could potentially prevent that is that's really cool.
let's see.
So you said they were doing the bathrooms at the schools. Is this like a thing down there that these schools don't have bathrooms at all, or do they just need to be like refurbished?
You know, if you've been to a third world country, this is quite common. You know, hygiene and water supply, dealing with waste. It's often open sewers or, you know, maybe latrines, pumping stations, clean water, portable water.
That's true. I guess a lot of it does come back to the water. If you don't have that infrastructure of the water pipes and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, these are poor communities. And so just if you see the construction around Mexico City, it's cinder blocks, rebar, open water lines, you know, just running around. So low grade construction. So they just do the best they can with the money they have. So yeah, that is how surprising it is that the things that we take for granted, you can't take for granted. I was shocked to understand that. Okay, we need bathrooms. Okay, you know, So,
Yeah, we had access to water, okay, sure. I think, most of us have heard that that's a thing, but I've never really thought about what it would be like to be in a place, especially like a school and you not be able to have a place where you can go to the bathroom. I never considered what that would be like.
and let's see, here is another. Yes, okay, this is the school that I went to. Okay, again, I wish they wouldn't do this. The kids apparently had been waiting for us. The bus was delayed, so they got to sit out. Fortunately, there was shade. But they had very nice presentation, and this is where the bathroom was. And let's see here. Let me see if I can pull over another picture. Well, it doesn't look like I'm doing it, so I've failed you on my technical abilities here. All right. So give some thought. If it's going to Mexico City isn't in your future, it's okay. But give some thought to how to it's called Rotary International for a reason. Think of things that we can do internationally. Maybe it's not flying out to Mexico City and spending a bunch of money and participating in this, but we're an electronic club. We can do a lot of these things electronically. We tried actually last year. We had these same people, this Linda Vista club that did the schools. It's the same club that we had the meeting with last year. The only thing we need to do better is have a translator. But it was a good effort to connect internationally using electronics and not traveling. So let's look for ways, at least I encourage you, let's look for ways that we can help other people internationally as well as locally with the modest resources that we have and scale it up and down as we do and find out what those needs are. So, but I'm hopeful one of us will go next year and take my place, come down here.
I know we've had talks before about kind of the struggle of finding, like a local community to invest in when we don't have a local community. And I think, doing an international community is a kind of a happy medium, I guess, for our club that, being that we're all from so many different places, let's just find somewhere that's neutral to all of us.
That's right. If we partner with one of these clubs, we can have joint meetings, talk about their needs, have a translator, and then funnel our time and resources to them and piggyback on what they're trying to accomplish. It might be very rewarding. So since we can't get together geographically in Texas or wherever everyone is, doing it in Mexico is good. And other people, I know we've had other discussions about other places as well. I think Guatemala may have been one, I'm not certain, but any place would be a fabulous thing to do. So.
Hey, Wes, do you have to be a Rotarian to be
Hey,
able to
Amber.
go?
Yeah, I think so, because there's one woman here, she's a daughter of one of the Rotarians, who's a past district governor. So adult daughter, she tagged along, but I think generally it has to be a Rotarian because it's a Rotary group.
Or maybe Rotarian and guest, possibly.
Yeah, Rotarian and guest. Sure.
Okay.
I like to try to get my wife to join and come down next year.
I'm assuming you're thinking about making the +1 tag along MFA.
That, and I have some coworkers, who would be great translators. They have families in Mexico and they know they've been to Mexico City before. And so if they would want to tag along, could also be a translator and also help out, possible Rotarian. It sounds like a win-win.
Mm-hmm.
Joint recruiting for the project and for our club.
Yes. So some of the people that that are with me on this group are, you can call them heavy hitters within the Rotary um, system. They're past district governors, current district governors. There's one woman who's on the board of directors of Rotary International, and then some people just like me, just ordinary members. And so we've talked about how our clubs are progressing, and I've expressed my desire that Rotary needs to adapt, innovate, be creative. I fully embrace DEI. Other people on this group do as well. It's not necessarily true for other clubs, particularly in East Texas, and that may have been one of the discouraging factors of participation. I hope not, but it may have been. And so when I brag about the club, our club, I see such tremendous utility. Even though we don't see each other very often in person, we seem to overcome that in the two-dimensional way that we communicate, and it works. It really works, but it also gives us advantages other clubs don't have that meet at the country club. We can be anywhere in the world and participate. Just like you were saying before, since we don't have a local community that we can serve, our community becomes international. We can reach anywhere in the world. We can have a speaker from Korea, like we did a few months ago, speak to our group. We can do things other clubs cannot. So when I say think outside the box, there is no box. So whatever we can think of, we can do. And I think that's the future of Rotary, and the other people along with me get that. So how we can help other people, I'm open to anything. Like the school, I didn't see a whole lot of computers. They had a computer lab, but I don't think very many of these families have computers. Okay. Maybe one of us might be interested in coming down and spending a week looking at their computers and teaching some of the kids one-on-one how to construct a project, using the computer skills. So all kinds of things that could be done, I think, and it can be done virtually. If we can get the kids on the computer, we can do some tutoring electronically that otherwise would not be possible because of the travel and the distance. So lots of things that can be done, limited only by the imagination. All right, Layla, I think that's my presentation. I turn it over to you.
I think Layla's still corralling the children.
Then Elaine, it would you get the honors.
Yeah, I'm stepping in here. While I'm grabbing the 4-way test, is there anyone else?
Top of the chat.
Yeah, I'm pulling it from there. Thank you for that. Just for the people who have joined since then, because unfortunately, Zoom does not save chats for people. There we go. If everyone's got it now. Anyone have any announcements, comments, things like that before we wrap up? I swear I'm trying to get the freaking newsletter out. I'm in a battle with the platform right now. But hopefully it will go out at some point. And once I get that, I'm switching platforms. So
if you have not applied for RILA staff and that is something that is of interest to you, applications are open.
Thank you for that.
But it's my problem anymore, but I still want to remind people.
Your problem from a different side now.
Yes.
Wes, there was a question from Layla. What is our next meeting topic?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do here. Bear with me here and
Sure.
see if I can get that answer for you.
I think our next meeting might be our social meeting.
The
We
week
have a
after
board
the-
meeting on the 29th. Board
Yes.
meeting on the 29th. December 6th, we will have Colleen Narens, and she's.
Oh,
gonna
right. Next
speak
week
on-
is our off week, which works out well with Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so December 6th, Financial Planning and Wealth Creation 101 is the topic. And I did not make a note, but she is the friend, a close friend of one of our members. Does anyone recall whom? I'm not sure who gave me that.
Layla.
Layla, she said it's her friend.
Layla?
There
Okay,
we go.
okay, all right. Forgive me for not knowing, but I will do the post and we'll get that done. I thought she would be an excellent speaker, so did Layla, because many of the people of our club are younger, building their careers, completing their advanced education. But you got to think about money. You got to think about where you're going to be when you got gray hair like me. You've got to have cash in the bank, and you got to invest. And you got these things that are not intuitive, but some of these are really complicated. And so having a financial advisor who can say, don't use that insurance company, use this one. You know, buy these tax-free entities. Don't buy those. You'll be taxed. Will be very valuable to learn these nuts and bolts. So very practical stuff for our next meeting. And I still need to get lined up Andrew's father. Andrew's father is a BP executive. It's going to speak to us about the topic I asked him to speak on is problem solving, advanced problem solving. He played a role in the BP oil spill in the Gulf in trying to clean up and plug the hole. It couldn't be more complex, and so there's a lot to be told there. And so I've got to get him confirmed, and I need to do that. I think we were working out scheduled dates in February.
Yeah, that's some next level problem solving.
Yeah, that's a whole other level. So
Awesome. Well, looking forward to that. Yeah, and I can't believe it's already Thanksgiving next week, but everyone be sure and hope you all have a good time with your friends and family, chosen or otherwise. And as always, board meeting last week of the month. It is open to members if you do wish to attend, but not required unless you're a board member. So on that note, four-way test is in the chat. If y'all want to come off mute, and we will give that a go if you are able to, of course. So the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair?
Is it fair
to
to
all
all
concerned?
concerned?
Third, will it build
Goodwill and
Doing
better
fun and better
friendships.
friendships.
And fourth, will it be
beneficial to all
concerned?
Thank you very much, everybody. Wes, thank you so much for giving us a little insight into what you got going on down there. Oh, did we lose him? We lost
He's
him.
off.
Left him.
Bye, Wes.
Bye, Wes. Have fun.
Yes, I know he said he snuck away from dinner to chat with us, so I'm sure he's got other things going on. But yeah,
Yep, he's
oh,
back
oh,
up
he's
and-
back. He's back.
There he
Back.
is.
Oh, good. Yeah, thank you so much, Wes.
Oh, you
This was
left us.
really awesome and really cool to hear about what's going on down there. And yeah, it would be great if our club could find a way to get involved.
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank
Layla,
you.
glad you could join us from rehearsal.
What are you rehearsing for?
I believe this is the high school's musical or play. I don't know which one they're doing. Layla's a theater teacher. Schoolhouse Rock Live. Interesting.
Okay, that sounds fun.
Mhm.
I didn't know that was a thing, but that's really cool.
All right. Y'all have a lovely evening, and I will see y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.
Elizabeth, bye.
Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you, Wes.
Bye, all.
Yes.